Wait, there we go. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Table Talk Thursday, episode 49, with your host, Randy Death 909, also known as Kenneth, and Huckbrother_1, also known as
David.
Yes.
As you just kind of do all the announcements for once.
So today we're going to start you off with Russian news, because it's always a heavy hitter.
It thinks that that's Chrome.
That is a strange one. Well, that's not it.
There we go. I was just fixing that in the meantime.
Okay.
That was really weird.
Some technical issues, folks.
No.
Yeah. So, to start us off in the news...
I saw the memes for this. I didn't know this was actually a thing.
The first story?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was memes about this.
Oh yeah, no, there's memes.
So, Nikki Haley, our great ambassador to the UN, has told the UN that Russia is responsible for the chemical attack that injured a former Russian spy. So, U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley said on Wednesday that the United States believes Russia is responsible for the attempted assassination of former Russian double agent and his daughter in Britain. The United States, and this is a quote from her, the United States believes Russia is responsible for the attack on two people in the United Kingdom using military-grade nerve agent, Haley said at the Security Council meeting in New York. She called on the UN to take action, stating that the credibility of the Council will not survive and we fail to hold Russia accountable. Actually brings the question if the Security Council can hold Russia accountable, because Russia, China, UN, France, and the United States all hold permanent member status and permanent veto status. So, I believe that's how that works, is that if something comes up in the Council, Russia can just veto it, and then nothing happens. The only time something can happen is if it goes to the General Assembly, and the General Assembly votes in majority. So, this is really going to be useless, and the Council is already useless. It's shown numerous times that the Security Council doesn't do anything to affect member nations. Especially not the United States. Especially against our egregious and numerous war crimes. Yep. Russia has denied any involvement in the assassination attempt, of course.
As usual.
I mean, it's clearly Russian. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'd bet money on it that it would be Russia. I mean, very few regimes have access to nerve agents, and would use them so brazenly. Kim Jong-un is one, as we covered a story a few months ago, where he killed his brother-in-law in Singapore?
Yeah.
And he used VX, or nerve agent. But this is clearly not North Korea's doing, because it's the Russian double agent who was attacked. And I mean, honestly, who would have an issue with a double agent outside of, well, the country they were spying against? I mean, it's not like Latvia's going to come in and be like, yeah, we totally have an issue with that double agent. Haley's remarks echoed those of Rex Tillerson, the ousted Secretary of State, who this week called the nerve agent attack a really egregious act that appears to have been clearly come from Russia. Yes, Rex Tillerson, the Secretary of State, is gone, to be replaced by Mike Pompeo, the current head of the, well, now former head of the fucking CIA. And he's being replaced by his deputy director, who's a woman most noted for running torture camps in the Philippines or Singapore, some East Asian nation, where she noted and there's no question about it, she ran torture camps, and they recorded the torture.
Kinky.
So, we have a torturer in charge of the CIA, not that that's a big surprise, I'm sure Mark Pompeo probably did torture.
Oh, what's that? Not that torturing people's out of the United States jurisdiction of 3-letter agencies.
Yeah, and they're saying that this is a bit of a side note, but they're saying Rex Tillerson was outed because he didn't agree with the president on how he was handling things with North Korea. And also, there was a lot of dislike against him, because as we've covered on and off, as they've arisen, that numerous ambassadors across all levels of the State Department have quit, because they couldn't work under him. And he was slashing the budgets wildly. But Mike Pompeo's been put into place because he and the president greatly agree with each other. So, that's going to be interesting to see how
there certainly is a lot of this going on in the current presidential circle.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I was watching a press briefing that the White House did today, and one of the reporters had asked her, so, with the ousting of Rex Tillerson and Mike Pompeo getting in as head of the Secretary of State position, when is Trump going to be done with all these layoffs? And then fucking Sarah Huckabee's like, the president wants the best people in the right positions at the right time, and that is of the purview of the president. And they're like, but when are we going to get these right people in the right positions? And she's like, it's the president's doing, he's getting the right people. It's like, that's all she has to say about it.
Probably because that's all she can say.
Yeah.
Because she's next on the chopping block.
Maybe. I doubt it. I mean, who else will do the freaking...
Well, I thought she spoke about, Trump's thing and fucked up massively.
She did.
We covered last week about that.
We did. And she got verbally reprimanded by the president.
I heard the story that the State Department dude didn't even know he was getting fired until he saw the tweet from Trump.
Yeah, I've heard a couple things about that. I've heard that John Kelly told him, because he was in Africa this week, to come back, and he didn't tell him why. Cutting short, of course, planned visit to Africa that's going to last through, next week, I believe.
Yeah.
And then supposedly there are people saying, I love it, because it reminds me of the old Monty Python gag. But basically, the person who announced that Rex Tillerson found out about the firing over Twitter was then summarily fired.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I'm just reminded of the Monty Python skit of the Holy Grail. It was like, the people who wrote the credits, opening credits, have now been sacked. Anyways, that's just a little inside of politics. So Britain has moved to expel all Russian diplomats on Wednesday after Moscow ignored a midnight deadline to explain how its nerve weapon was used in the attack.
So it's not even just any nerve weapon, it's specifically Russian.
Yes, I believe what they were saying is that the specific chemical composition was only manufactured by Russia.
Which is kind of a deal whenever you make nerve agents. Huh.
I mean, there are common nerve agents, a general thing, but this apparently what they're saying that is clearly Russian. And I mean, I doubt America is sending in their CIA with a Russian nerve agent to try and stir up.
Well,
I mean,
I don't trust our government. So
I don't trust our government, but I don't know. I don't think that. It's hard to say. I mean, I could see them doing it.
Yeah, you're like, no, they wouldn't do it. And you're like,
I mean, I could see our government doing this. I could. But I could also just as easily see Russia doing it.
Yeah.
Because it's Russia, and the amount of shit they're doing in Eastern Europe, and the surrounding area is just fucking ridiculous. So, it could go either way, but I'm going to pin this one on Russia until evidence comes out otherwise.
The evidence of absence is not the absence of evidence.
So, the expulsions, the largest in 3 decades, will fundamentally degrade Russian intelligence capabilities in the UK for years to come. Which it honestly will. Diplomats are our spies a lot of the times. I mean, seriously, the CIA going in pretending to be diplomats. They are our eyes and ears in these other nations.
Most definitely. Anyway. Oh, yes. U.S. accuses Russia of cyber attack on energy sector and imposes new sanctions. The U.S. has accused Russia of a wide-ranging cyber assault on its energy grid and other key parts of its infrastructure as it stepped up sanctions on Russian intelligence for its interference in the 2016 elections. The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security issued an alert urging firms in the industry to review their cybersecurity. The alert said the concerted cyber attack on the U.S. infrastructure began on March 2016. Which is forever.
That's concerning that it's been going on for
2 years.
2 years.
Officials added that the motive of the attack was initially surveillance to gather information on computer management systems in the U.S. energy grid. At the same time, the U.S. Treasury announced new sanctions against Russian individuals and entities, including the FSB and GRU intelligence agencies, as well as the Internet Research Agency in St. Petersburg for interference in the 2016 elections.
Yes, so they found that that's the term of the agency, the Internet Research Agency, which essentially hired numerous Russian trolls and hackers to, well, manipulate our elections.
Yeah, and they were doing it through like Facebook stuff
ads.
and all that stuff.
They did it through multiple points, as we've covered in the past.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I mean, hell, there was one time that we talked about remember where they put out those ads for the self-defense training?
I don't remember that one, but sure.
Yeah, basically there was a Russian ad put out to people who want self-defense, black people specifically in black communities that wanted to defend themselves against police and other things, to drum up basically mistrust of the police and the etc.
Yep. As a result, Russia's election interference, officials said that thousands of Russian-planted stories reached millions of people online during the U.S. presidential campaign, which is what we were just talking about. And also the whole Russian security thing. Remember, last year we covered a story where a Russian hacker or a group of hackers took down, was it half of Russia or the Ukraine, somebody's power grid?
Yeah, no, that was Russia.
Yeah,
and that's actually also a part of these attacks. Was originally they hit Ukraine and then they went throughout Europe. Said they caused $10 billion worth of damage.
I don't doubt that. So see, one of the things whenever I was interviewing for Jackson Electric over here, they were talking about with cybersecurity, and they were talking about like super hardcore to the max because of this sort of stuff. And that's what would have been interesting. I would have loved to focus on cybersecurity. If only they would have paid me enough in the beginning.
Yeah.
To run all of their shitty infrastructure and do everything.
But are you regretting you didn't take that job?
I mean, I'm just regretting not having a job now. That's about it. I'm not necessarily regretting, because like when the hurricane happened, I would have been stuck.
That's true.
I would have been in a FEMA tier class 3 facility. I would have been sitting my ass in the fucking, the data center with a microwave and a refrigerator probably. Just like, nope, this is where I am.
And your air mattress.
And my air mattress.
It's like, you live, sleep, and breathe here for the next week.
Do I get paid hazard pay? No.
You wish.
I know, right?
Yeah.
No. Actually, this and that, you get paid less. But you'll get overtime.
At a severely reduced rate.
Exactly.
So this one I find really interesting, this next story. So the International Criminal Court has moved to investigate Duterte.
Ooh.
And now he wants out.
Now he wants out of what?
The International Criminal Court Pact.
Ooh.
So, President Rodrigo Duterte will withdraw the Philippines from the Rome Statute, the treaty that establishes the International Criminal Court, according to a statement released yesterday. The move comes about a month after the ICC opened preliminary examinations into thousands of deaths linked to his violent campaign against suspected drug users and dealers.
Which is all stuff we covered.
Which we've covered numerous times, and there's clear evidence what's going on. Duterte's statements said the decision to withdraw was because of the baseless and unprecedented outrageous attacks by UN officials, and an attempt by the ICC prosecutor to seek jurisdiction in violation of due process and presumption of innocence. Dude, you've never been innocent. At no point in your political career have you ever been innocent. I mean, you've said it yourself numerous times, all the bullshit that you did. Running fucking death squads as mayor of a city, and then now as president, just it's full on, mass murder.
Yep.
According to the Rome Statute, a state party's withdrawal takes effect 1 year after the United Nations Secretary General receives written notification. The statement argued that the rule does not apply because there appears to be fraud in entering such an agreement.
This is a different site. So it's basically probably the American version.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
It's the same thing.
That's the same thing, yeah.
It's just American specifically.
Mm-hmm. How much is it paying?
Still $2. Actually, it's cheaper than it is in fucking the UK. Because £2 is way more than $2.
Yeah, but how much is it normally, though?
It's definitely an email. Shipping and billing. I don't want to confirm my email.
Should probably tell you that. Anyways. So yeah, I'm going to call bullshit on that because they clearly entered it legally.
Hold on, I want to point out that whenever I click this, it is a Star Trek logo. Up there, to the side.
Inaccurate. Disappointed.
But this is the Back to the Future logo.
I guess. It's difficult to tell.
It is difficult to tell. Well, yeah, it's the fucking arrow.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm staring at it. I'm enhancing manually. Enhance.
Anyways. So, the question about whether the ICC could or would investigate Duterte has been swirling since the early months of his presidency. Since he was elected in 2016, an estimated 12,000 Filipinos have been killed, either shot dead in police operations with high death tolls, when few witnesses, or assassinated by men on motorbikes, often after being named by police. So, as we said,
I'll cover the bottom two stories. We can cover this next story too. Just because I want to cover my Japan.
Okay, yeah, I figured you'd want that.
I didn't even know their fucking adulthood age was 20, honestly.
Yeah, I know, me neither.
I'm still an adult anywhere! I'm so old now, though.
So, I hope the ICC will definitely investigate him and find him guilty.
I hope they take the fist, the long dick of the law, and just
him
straight into him.
His vice president, all his little elected officials, the head of the head of the police, and all of his sub-officials. You've got a list a mile long of officials who need to get taken down. Come at me, Philippines.
Say come at me.
Yeah, I want to see what President Duterte will do to me reporting on his government.
People would have to watch us to do that.
Oh, it hurts.
It does hurt.
Duterte's government has not made any evidence of efforts to prosecute those implicated in drug war deaths. Instead, the president has repeatedly promised to pardon or even promote police linked to the drug war killings. So part of the requirements for investigation, or rather to avoid investigation, would be for the government to actually be prosecuting people. They're not doing that, and as I just stated, they're making plans to promote and pardon people. So, there's no clear violation. Anyways, moving on to the next story.
Moving on to the Barneth country.
Yes. So, this is an update to a story we covered a week or two ago, where Australia is considering visas for white South African farmers. So, for those who don't know, South Africa is going the route of Zimbabwe and is going to be forcibly taking the land of the white farmers, who own a majority of the land, respectively. They own, I believe, 78% of the land. They consist of 21% of the population. So they're a minority population owning the majority of the farming land. Anyways, so South Africa has dismissed allegations that its white farmers are being persecuted after the Australian minister said they need help from a civilized country. Home Affairs Minister Peter Dutton said he was exploring giving South Africans, white farmers, a fast-track access to visas on humanitarian grounds. The suggestion came amid calls to transfer land ownership from white to black farmers in South Africa and fears over the numerous farm killings. Government spokesperson Indivhuo, it's a very African name, Mbaya, told the BBC there was no reason for any country in the world to suspect a section of the South African population was in danger from its democratically elected leaders. If I had a nickel for every time the government told me you have nothing to fear from your leaders, I'd be a wealthy man.
If you have nothing to fear from your leaders, then we wouldn't have half of the shit that happens in general.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Dutton, he added, said we want people who want to come here, abide by our laws, integrate into society, work hard, and not lead a life on welfare. And I think these people deserve special attention, and we're applying that special attention now. And I love this, because this is the now current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, saying, we will not allow land grabs, we will not allow land invasions because it is illegal. It begins to violate the rights of other South African citizens. He says that now, and he's not technically incorrect. However, the ANC, which is the ruling majority party, I believe, is actively in their Congress promoting a bill to do exactly what he says they're not trying to do. It's going to promote them taking land without compensation. Which is bullshit. Yeah, I get it. Historical and, everything, yes. White people ruled South Africa for many decades, and they were terrible for black South Africans, and it was apartheid, and I completely understand that. It's been 40, 50 years now, and yes, that's not enough time, I'm sure, for the injustices of generations of white South Africans that they committed to the black South Africans. But in a civilized nation, if you want to take somebody's land, you at least pay them for it. It doesn't have to be fair, but you at least give them something. I mean, hell, in America we have eminent domain, and the government's supposed to pay you fair market value of whatever the property
they pay you
taking.
Realistically a little bit under, I'm pretty sure, in most cases.
Yeah, they do. It's not great. It's not terrible.
Well, no, it is terrible. It sucks for people.
Yeah, no, it's not great, as I say. It could be worse. They could just take the land at next to no value.
Yeah, but if they did that, then all the good old Second Amendment would kick in.
Nah.
Oh, yeah. If they piss off the wrong Texan for the border wall shit, oh, yeah. Second Amendment all the way.
Well,
somebody's going to go charge at a bunch of people and start mowing people down. Because you don't fuck with people's livelihoods. That's just not something you do. Anybody. It's not something anybody would do. That's why it's stupid whenever, somebody in a company, they get fired for bullshit reasons. You fuck with those people's livelihoods. And those people either commit suicide or they go and fucking stab or kill whoever fired them type thing. Because you fucking with their livelihood.
I mean, it happens. Not often. It's a very rare thing.
What is? Revenge? No.
Workplace violence?
No. It usually happens out of the workplace. Take Legend of Tiny the Evil, for example. That.
I want real world example, none of this bullshit anime.
Okay, I mean, that does happen in the real world.
I know it happened in the real world, but I want an example. I
want
statistics.
Give you an example.
Give me the numbers, Mason.
I can't give you an exact fucking, person that I know that's been stabbed for firing somebody.
I don't care if you know them, I just want some information.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyways, so...
I'm just saying it happens.
And I'm just saying, this is going to lead to very bad things happening in South Africa.
Oh, no, it does. Yeah, most definitely.
Because it's going to end up like Zimbabwe.
We're going to get another James Comey. We're going to get, was it Coney? Yeah, we're going to get Coney again. Coney 2012.
I remember that was so popular.
He's going to be white, and he's going to have his army of white people with guns. Same thing. Okay.
No, it's just going to end up where, white farmers are going to be killed in South Africa. Yep. They're going to be escaping to the neighboring areas. And
for once in a lifetime, white people are going to be refugees. Ha ha.
Oh, there were refugees in Zimbabwe. The same thing happened there in the 70s. Yeah, no, the same thing happened in Zimbabwe in the 70s, where they forcibly took the